what's up? Hello, my name is Liz, and you're watching For Booking Out Loud. And today I am doing my June TBR, which is really exciting for me because I'm a teacher, and therefore June means summer, or at least the start of summer for me. And really, my summer doesn't start until halfway through June, but it's still starting. Not that I don't love my kids, but this year has been a year. It's been a year. So I'm really excited to start planning, I guess, my reading for the summer. Because let's be realistic, I have no plans. Because things are still kind of in flux, right? Anyway, I have another incredibly large TBR, and who knows if I'll get through it because life. Still excited to read all of these books though. And I kind of liked what I did last TBR in May, where I sorted all my books into my ebooks, my audiobooks, and then my physical books. And so I'm going to just do it again this month because that was fun, and so I continue because it's my channel and I do what I want. We are going to just start with ebooks, and I have 7 ebooks, 2 audiobooks, and then the rest are physical books. And I think I have 19 or 20 books this month once again. So we'll just see. We'll see. And actually, I don't think I have many repeat books, so I think I did pretty well last month. So just stay tuned for my next video, which will be my wrap up, and we'll just see how everything went because I haven't planned that yet and I don't know. Ebooks, so let's go. The first book is, honestly, I'm still continuing because I just didn't finish this month, is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I am in the middle of the book and I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's a much beloved book and we'll just continue. The second book that I will be hopefully getting to this month is The Last Smile in Sunder City by Luke Arnold. Once again, I heard about that book on a Couple Books channel. He's amazing. Look him up. I just really need to get to it. I didn't get a chance to read it last month, and honestly, it's about to expire on my library, so it will be a priority for June, to say the least. And then I also got A Forest of Stolen Girls. Got it right. By June Her. This is her second novel, and I really, really enjoyed the first novel, which was, it's a mystery. I see it in my head. It's a beautifully blue cover. The Silence of Bones, of course. Duh. Really enjoyed that one. It was a historical fiction mystery novel, and The Forest of Stolen Girls, I honestly don't know too much about, just that it is another historical fiction, and it's by June Her, and that's all I needed to know to ask for it from my library. Now, the fourth ebook that I have is going to be Dead Man in a Ditch by Luke Arnold. It is the sequel to A Smile in Sunder City. Like I said, A Smile in Sunder City is going to be a priority. Don't know too much about the sequel, other than that it is a sequel. There you go. Sorry, I can't say more about it. Now, number 5 is going to be My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry by Fredrick Bachman. Again, sorry. If you have come to this video to learn more about books, this is not the video for you. But I can tell you I really, really enjoyed the previous couple books I've read by Fredrick Bachman, and that's why I requested this book, because honestly, I just want to read more by him. He is a beautiful, beautiful author, and his books can make me cry, they can make me laugh. And I've just really enjoyed my experience from his books, not knowing too much going into them, and then being completely taken aback and surprised by how much I love them. I can probably guess that it is contemporary fiction, and that's kind of all I need to know. They're kind of weird in a incredibly good way, and I'm probably gonna cry from this book just looking at the title. So there you go. Then number 6 is going to be Dune Messiah by Frank Herbert. This is the sequel to the Dune series. I did read Dune, I think 2 or 3 months ago, and it was interesting to me. I thought the first, being realistic, 2/3 of the book were incredibly boring to me, but the last third of the book really picked up for me and kind of made me want to continue with the series, and that's why I'm picking up the sequel. It finally, hopefully, will come through this month from my library. And this sequel will pretty much be a deciding factor on if I continue with this whole series. There's 6 books in this Dune series, and that's a commitment considering how large these books are. So if this book isn't, let's be realistic, if this book does not catch me, I will not be continuing with the series. But if it does catch me, I will be incredibly excited to continue, and I might even invest some money into the series and own it, because I don't want to wait another 2 months for the next book potentially. But again, we'll see. I'm hopeful, but I also just don't know. Wish me luck. And then finally this month, I want to get to Smoke Gets Into Your Eyes by Caitlin Doughty. It's a book I've been meaning to read for probably half a year now. It's a nonfiction. I think this one might be about how people pay respects to their dead across the world and across cultures, but I might be getting this confused with her autobiography. I'll have to look this up, sorry, because I know she has 2 very popular books. This is a pretty famous YouTube star, and I actually really enjoy her channel. She's pretty funny and very respectful of the dead. She's a crematory. She owns a crematory. There we go. And I'm just excited to see what she's published, really. So there you go. Those are my 7 ebooks that I hope to get to this month. And then I have, like I said, 2 audiobooks. The first one is going to be Sea People by Christina Thompson. It is about really how people migrated in Polynesian islands way back in the day, and how they traveled between the islands, I believe. It sounded interesting when I got it on audio, and I'm just kind of curious about ancient history, and this sounds like it's ancient history. So there you go. That's all I really need to pick up a book. And then the second audiobook that I want to pick up is going to be another nonfiction, and it's The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks. And this is a book I've talked about quite a few times on this channel as something that I promised I would read soon, and I'm finally gonna get to it hopefully this month. Honestly, it's a lot about history and science and medicine and how it's very biased and racist, and it's just a story that I really feel like I need to know, and so I'm gonna pick it up this month. So there you go, my 2 awesome audiobooks. And then I actually have quite a few physical books, and so we'll see if I get through all of them. I've been finding it very difficult actually to read my physical books since Sam came into my life. He has not really allowed me to read many physical books because he likes it dark when he takes his afternoon naps. And I can't really read in the dark if it's a physical book, so we'll just see. We'll see if I get through this stack. But the first book is going to be The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. I fell in love with the Poppy War last month, and I am so excited to pick up this beauty and really know what's happening next in the series. I have very, very high hopes in this fantasy series, and I want it to continue. The Poppy War was a 5-star for me, and I'm really hoping the Dragon Republic will be 5-star for me and answer a lot of questions that I have in this series and in this world in general. I did a live discussion of the Poppy War, and of course I'll link that above and below like always. And I'm actually going to do a live discussion and host this on my channel again, and that will be on June 27th. I got that right. At 2 p.m. again. Not again. But it'll be at 2 p.m. on June 27th. And if you've read The Dragon Republic, plan to read The Dragon Republic, join me this month and join the live discussion. It'll be absolutely wonderful because I had so much fun at that live discussion last month. And I'm so excited to read it. All right. And then I'm actually going to start a buddy read with Amy from A-Star Reads. And she has never read the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin before. And I have, and I loved it. And I'm so excited to introduce this book to her. And this is going to be my first time rereading it after I read it the first time and fell in love with it and all of its everything. And so I'm personally very excited not only to reread this book, but also watch Amy read it for the first time and just have fun with her reading it, because I've done a couple buddy reads with Amy before and she is phenomenal. She's so much fun to read with and we have such a fun time together. So that's going to be such a great time this month. And honestly, just picking up a great series once again. I can't wait. It's a great book too. If you have not picked up the 5th season before, it is a phenomenal fantasy. And even if you don't like epic fantasy, it's so much fun piecing this world together and figuring out what happens throughout this book that this is probably a good go-to as an introduction to fantasy, or even just a fantasy for non-fantasy readers. There you go. Do it. This next book is probably forever going to be on my TBR just because it's never a priority and I don't know why. I just never want to reach for it because it is a reread for me and it just feels like it's such a big book. But Royal Assassin is going to be on my TBR once again because I did not finish it last month and I probably have had it on my TBR for 5 months now or something. Robin Hobb is an amazing author. I loved the book the last time I read it and I just don't know why I'm not getting to it. It is the sequel to the Assassin's Apprentice in the Farseer trilogy. Again, I loved it the first time I read it and I don't know why I'm not getting to it yet. It's tried and true. It's going strong. It's a good book, I promise. It's just always on my TBR. And then the last series that I'm going to finish this month is one that I just started last month, at the very end of last month. I finished Parable of the Sawyer last month by Octavia Butler. So this month I'm definitely going to finish Parable of the Talents by Octavia Butler and finish the Earthseed duology. I really actually enjoyed Parable of the Sawyer last month. Actually, I just finished it today. I thought it was really interesting. I thought the world building was incredible. Okay, let's just be realistic. I enjoy dystopian fiction. I love dystopian fiction when it's realistic and the characters are realistic, the scenarios are realistic. What can I say? I like to scare myself on future potential destruction and chaos and punishment and end of days and how awful humanity can be. I don't know why. I'm just weird. And so to see the world continue and to see how Lauren and her group maybe thrive or die, I don't know. It'll be interesting, and I just want to finish all that it is in this book. And honestly, Octavia Butler is someone I am such ashamed to say that I've never read before. Parable of the Sawyer. And I just need to read this book and then pick up everything else she's ever written. I got this. This video is going to be fun. But this is one that I will read next month and finish the series. So we'll see. Now, going into some more standalone books, and honestly, it's a very interesting month, I would say, for my physical TBR. So this first book is one I have no idea what it's about. It's When a Crocodile Eats the Sun, a memoir of Africa by Peter Godwin. This is a book my neighbor gave me, and I haven't read it for 2 months. So I feel obligated to read it this month and give it back to her because I'm awful and I should not hold a book that I was borrowing for a while. But she claims that I'll like it, so I'll hold her to it. Yeah, it's a memoir. That's all I know. So we'll see. I'm hopeful. I think it's nonfiction. If it's a memoir, it has to be nonfiction. Yeah. Me and my neighbor talk about books a lot, especially when we see each other, so I have high hopes. High hopes. Now, the next 2 books are going to be Stephen King. I'm going to finish The Talisman before this month ends, and I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it later. But I need to step back from King's fantasy and get more into his other work because, again, we'll talk about The Talisman. So I'm going to pick up Later by Stephen King. This is his newest book. It was just released a month or 2 ago. And it's short, sweet. I heard it's really good. I am trying to stay away from all of the spoilers. I heard it's more paranormal, and a lot of people are comparing it to other Stephen King works that I haven't read yet. So I probably should have read them before this guide, but I just need something a little shorter. I own it, and we'll see. We'll see. Talisman was a rough one. Okay, let's just put it out there. Talisman was a rough one. I need something short, sweet from Stephen King to get me back into him. So we have this guy. And then we have The Dark Half, which I believe is King's novel that he released after he got sober, right after, 2 years after he wrote The Tommyknockers. And I also believe it's right after he was found out to be David Bachman, his pseudonym. So it's more about an author trying to get over his pseudonym in this book. I don't know how all of those add up. I think it's a little bit more grotesque than Stephen King is. Usually less psychological. But we'll see. I'm personally excited for it. I've heard some good things. I've heard some not so good things. But it's the kind of horror that I'm kind of into. So, again, hopeful. I need something a little different from Stephen King than what I just finished. And this is what I'm hoping for. This is the what I'm hoping the Stephen King that I like. And like always, these old books, gotta love those pictures on the back. Not as good as Christine's picture, but still great. Still great. Now, I think this is going to be the last horror. Maybe. No, I have 2 more horrors, but this is the really incredible violent horror that I have. I have been meaning to read this book forever, but I have Karin Slaughter's The Good Daughter. Karin Slaughter, very grotesque, very violent, very descriptive horror, but really, really liked her other book that I read from her. And so I, again, have been meaning to read this forever, and I'm excited to pick it up. I need to pick it up. It's been sitting on my shelf for months, and I just haven't gotten around to it. But it's just, I think it's in the vein of her other books. You have a girl, she's trying to solve a mystery, she gets caught up in it, so on and so forth. You have very descriptive horror within all of it. I've heard good things, so I'm hopeful. And then these 2 books are more if I have time this month, so we'll see if I get around to it. Ugh. I have The Lost Apothecary. I will never say that word correctly, but it's by Sarah Penner. It is a historical fiction book about apothecaries in, I think, 1800s London, I want to say. But it's about women who run the secret apothecary. Just live with that word and how I pronounce it, okay? And I'm hoping that there's going to be a lot of poisonings and some girls killing some guys with poison, because, 1800s women weren't treated that great. That's my hope for this book. Again, I've been trying to get away from spoilers. I know it was a very anticipated book. I've been seeing it go around on BookTube, and I really just, again, avoid those videos. So we'll see. I think it's a beautiful cover, regardless on if I like it or not. Hopeful. I'm hopeful. And the very last book that I'm hopeful, again, of getting to this month is going to be Girl A by Abigail Dean. And from my understanding, this book is the aftermath of kids getting away from a torturous family situation. And when I say torturous, it's like those family situations you see on the news where kids were locked in a room for days and weeks on end with little to no food or chained up. Those kind of torturous situations. And Girl A is about one of the girls and her family connections and trying to get over it like a decade later. So I believe it's more psychological. Honestly, I don't really know what to expect from this book, if I'm going to be completely honest. I'm going into it with no expectations, always hoping to like a book, don't get me wrong, but no expectations, because that is a lot. That is a lot to take in for a book. Very dark, maybe even too dark for me, but we'll see. And I guess I'll just get back to you on this book, on if I liked it or not, or if it's worth a read or not, and just how dark it gets. So we'll just have to wait and see. So I believe that was 19 books overall. I'm hopeful for an amazing reading month. And I hope you all have a great reading month below. I hope you all have a great reading month as well. If you're reading any of these books as well, please leave a comment down below, or even just comment a book you're really excited to read next month. And honestly, I wish you all 5-star reads all month and just a wonderful June. I will see you next time. Have an amazing day. Bye.